We got another great cocktail today from my It's Always Sunny themed summer craft cocktail menu. And this one is a shaken bourbon cocktail with caramelized peaches, basil, and another little secret that's really gonna layer up the flavors in this cocktail. And this fantastic summer cocktail is called Being Frank. All right, so it being summertime, we're working through the It's Always Sunny menu, and this one is a guaranteed crowd pleaser. And as always, I'm gonna show you how to make the cocktail, and for all you abstaining from alcohol out there, I'm also gonna show you how to make a mocktail version. So enough of the chit chat, let's jump into the build for Being Frank. Now the build for Being Frank is 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, a 1/2 ounce of caramelized peach, basil, and balsamic vinegar shrub, a 1/2 ounce of Fernet. It's shaken, it's double strained, it's served in a rocks glass over a large cube, and it's garnished with a basil leaf. And the build for the mocktail version is 1.5 ounces of lemon juice, 1 ounce of that caramelized peach, basil, and balsamic vinegar shrub, and that's shaken, that's served over ice, and that's topped with a 50-50 blend of soda and tonic water. And that's also garnished with a basil leaf. Now, going back to the ingredients real quick on the cocktail, I mentioned Fernet. Fernet is a type of Amaro, and we've gone over Amaros in past episodes, like in episode 3, when we made the Black Manhattan, with the use of the Averna Amaro, which is a more chocolate-forward, less bitter Amaro. But in this cocktail, we're using Fernet, which is probably one of the most popular types of Amaros and responsible for drunk bartenders everywhere taking safety meetings. But Fernet is a more herbal, bitter Amaro, and it's most notably made by the Branca family. But in this recipe, I'm using Fernet di Fratelli. I've also used Moletti Fernet as well, and I find that both work really well. I prefer them to Fernet Branca in this context, because I feel like Fernet Branca has just a little bit too much punch for this cocktail. But you can feel free to mess around and try out different Fernets in the context of this cocktail and see what you like best. And we do have another new ingredient today. For the first time in this series, I'm gonna teach you how to make a shrub. Now the difference between a shrub and a syrup is simply the use of a vinegar to fortify the syrup, which adds an extra level of acidity and an extra level of flavor from whichever vinegar you're using. Now when making a shrub, you can use pretty much any vinegar you want. You can use red wine vinegar, you can use apple cider vinegar, champagne vinegar, balsamic as we'll be using here. Really just whatever vinegar you feel will pair best with the other flavor components you're using. And in this cocktail, I chose balsamic because I find that the pairing of balsamic vinegar, basil, peaches, especially caramelized peaches, are just a fantastic flavor bomb. I mean, they just level up and they just pair together so well. And peaches being in season, pairing that with the bourbon, it all comes together so beautifully. I honestly can't wait for you guys to try this cocktail because it is a fantastic one. All right, so enough chit chat. Let's jump into the prep work. Both my mocktail and my cocktail people, we're gonna be doing all the same prep work today, so hang with me. So the tools you're gonna need today, you're gonna need a knife, you're gonna need a cutting board, you're gonna need a kitchen scale or something that can weigh out grams. You're gonna need a sheet tray, you're gonna need a citrus juicer, you're gonna need some mesh basket strainers, you're gonna need a pot, and you're gonna need a vegetable juicer. All right, so with our vegetable juicer, we're gonna be juicing our caramelized peaches for our shrub. For those of you that don't have a vegetable juicer or can't get one, you can buy peach juice. Just make sure there's no added sugars or anything like that in it. You won't get that extra caramelized note, but it is still a fantastic cocktail. If you can get a vegetable juicer, if you have a vegetable juicer, I highly suggest it so we can caramelize our peaches and just get that extra added note of flavor in the cocktail. It does make a world of difference, I think. But either way, super enjoyable. So for the first step in our prep work, we're gonna start with our caramelized peach, basil, and balsamic shrub. For our ingredients, we're gonna need peaches. We're also gonna need some good balsamic vinegar. You're gonna need sugar, and you're gonna need basil leaves. Now for the measurements for our shrub, what we're looking for is 250 grams of that caramelized peach juice, 250 grams of sugar, 62.5 grams of our balsamic vinegar, and 25 grams of our basil leaves. All right, so to start, we're gonna need our cutting board, and we're gonna need our knife. And what we want to do first is get our peaches, and we're going to want to halve them. So what I'm going to do is right across the top, I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to run it down, and I'm going to run it right around the entire peach, just like that. You want to be gentle now at this part because you don't want to crush the peach, especially if they're really ripe. And you want to just twist them, and then you need to get your seed out there. This is a hard one. Sometimes they get stuck in there. And you just got to pick them out if you can. All right, keep doing that. Have your peaches. Twist them gently, just like so, so you get the whole pit right there on that side, and you just gotta pull it out of the one side. So I'm gonna have all these, and I'll pull all the pits out. Again, when you're twisting, make sure you do it gentle as to not crush the peach too much. These ones are like so perfectly ripe. They're just just getting to where they're just soft. Oh yeah, these are juicy, man. Juicy, juicy, juicy peaches. Throw all my pits to the side here. Try not to cause too much damage to these peaches. You get some that are troublesome, you can cut them out with your knife. All right, so we got all our peaches cut and all the pits taken out. Next, we want to transfer them to our sheet tray. So grab your sheet tray, and we're just gonna place all our peaches on our sheet tray, and we want them all skin side down. So you want the meat facing up, because next what we're gonna do is place them under the broiler and get a nice char on them, just so we get that caramelized peach note. All right, let's go throw these bad boys in the broiler. All right, so after we sliced our peaches, we got them in the oven, under the broiler, on high. Probably take about 10 minutes-ish, depending on your oven. But I would say stick with your peaches while they are caramelizing to make sure you don't burn them. You're really looking for that nice char on them just like that, so all those sugars caramelize. This is kind of perfect right here. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna grab our juicer and we're gonna juice these peaches. All right, so I got my juicer set up. I'm gonna crank this thing on. We got it going. And I'm just gonna grab my peaches, push them down in the juicer. Again, I'm looking for 250 grams of peach juice. Definitely pro tip, wait till your peach is cool, at least enough to where you can handle them before you go juicing them, otherwise you might burn your fingers. All right, so we got our peaches juiced. We're gonna grab our scale, turn our scale on, let's place a container on our scale, make sure we zero out our scale, and we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of our caramelized peach juice. All right, 250 grams, that worked out perfect, just a little bit extra here. So that was about 7 peaches, guys, that got me 250 grams, just a hair over 250 grams of peach juice. So we're gonna add that peach juice to the pot. We're gonna grab another container, place it on our scale, zero out that scale. So we're gonna grab our sugar, and we need our 250 grams of sugar. 250 grams of sugar, let's add that to the pot. Throw our container back on there, make sure it's zeroed out again. Now we're gonna weigh out our 62.5 grams of balsamic vinegar. Right, 62.5 grams. Add that to the pot. And lastly, we're gonna weigh out our basil leaves. So let's grab another container, make sure that scale is zeroed out, and we're gonna need 25 grams of basil leaves. So grab your basil and just start ripping the leaves off. Now again, we want to avoid these big stems going in there. We really just want the leaves. The smaller stems are okay. Really just aiming for the leaves. That's where all the oils are. That's really what we want. 25 grams of basil. We're gonna add that to our pot as well. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna do, let's get our burner on to like a medium-high heat, and we're gonna wanna grab our bar spoon and just give our syrup a stir, get everything really incorporated, and we're gonna wanna cook this until it just comes to a boil and all that sugar's dissolved. All right, we are almost at a boil here. I really just wanna get it up high enough for long enough, really so that basil steeps in as well. Try some of this additional peach juice while I wait. Wow. So nice, sweet and tangy. Definitely get the caramelized notes on the juice already. Very nice. All right, this is coming to a boil. I'm gonna turn that heat off. I don't wanna overcook it. I don't wanna overdo it. So we need to let that cool. While that's cooling, the last little bit of prep we gotta do today, we gotta cut and juice our lemons. So let's grab our cutting board again, grab our knife, and I'm gonna lay all my lemons out here. As always, guys, I like to cut all my citrus and then juice all my citrus all at once. Just makes for a quicker process. So move these to the side so you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, and we're just gonna cut them and slide them face down. They're big, fragrant lemons, man. They smell so good. All right, our lemons are cut. Let's go ahead and grab our citrus juicer and get these juicing. All right, we got a container. Let's place that right here. Grab our lemon. I'm gonna place it rind side up in the juicer. And we're just gonna give it a good press. Give it one more press. All right. New citrus juicer in this episode. It's different from all the other episodes. I don't know if I like it better or not. Technically, this is my old citrus juicer. Just didn't like the bright yellow. Gotta have style and aesthetic when you're bartending. Nah, I mean, no regrets. I don't know why I said that. That was a big one. Getting hot and sweaty in the happiness bar set. What is prep work without a little bit of sweat involved? Little tears. Only if you get lemon juice in your eye. Do this long enough, I promise you, you will get lemon or lime juice, something directly into your eyeball, right here, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna blind you, and you're gonna wonder why you're doing this. But then you'll make the drink and you'll realize, hey man, it was all worth it. All right, we're done juicing. The crucial next step, as always, grab your basket strainer, and we're gonna double strain our citrus as always. So pour it through the strainer once, gets all that pulp out of there, any little seeds you may have, dump that out, and we're gonna pour it through twice. Double strained citrus juice. A little extra pulp, get that out of there. Grab a lid, grab something like some blue tape, as always, label and date everything we make. Everything, everything, everything. Remember, shelf life on your lemon juice is 2 days. Throw it out on the 3rd day. We don't want to use that shit. Gross. All right. Too much stuff in my way. All right, so we're done with our citrus. Our shrub is cooled enough. Grab a container for our shrub. I'm gonna grab another basket strainer. We're just gonna pour the syrup right through our strainer. Strain out the basil. Yeah. You need to work it. Get your spoon. Work it a little. Let's taste a little bit of that shrub. It might be a little hot, but that's awesome, man. So important. Taste your ingredients as you go, guys. So that way, when you're drinking the cocktail, you can kind of pick apart and actually know what's coming from where, the flavors that you're getting. Tasting everything. Super crucial to building a palate. All right, so peach, basil, shrub. As always, guys, label and date. Let's throw that on there. Grab a lid. There you have it, guys. A peach, basil, balsamic vinegar shrub. All right, guys, our prep work is done. We're gonna get into making some cocktails. I went ahead and put my lemon juice and the peach, basil, balsamic shrub in some cheater bottles here just to make it easier for pouring while making the cocktail. So to start, let's grab our shaker tins. We're also gonna need a jigger, and we're gonna need our glassware. Now I'm gonna be making the Being Frank cocktail in the shaker tin on your left side of the screen, and I'm gonna be making the Mocktail, the non-alcoholic version, on your right side of the screen. So to start, let's grab our jigger, and as always, we work cheapest ingredients to most expensive ingredients. So we're gonna go with 3/4 ounce lemon juice in our cocktail, and we're gonna go with 1.5 ounces of lemon juice in our Mocktail. Next, we're gonna go with 1/2 ounce of our peach, basil, balsamic shrub in our cocktail. And we're gonna go with 1 ounce of our peach, basil, balsamic shrub in our Mocktail. Now in our cocktail, we got 1/2 ounce of our Fernet. And in our cocktail, we have 1.5 ounces of our bourbon. All right, we're gonna grab our large side of our shaker. We're gonna ice both our shaker tins. We wanna make sure we fill our short side of our shakers all the way to the top with ice. And while we ice our shaker tins, we wanna make sure we ice our glassware as well. So in our Mocktail, we're gonna go with our regular rocks, fill the glass up. And in our cocktail, we're gonna go with our large cube. Now, if you wanna know how to make these crystal clear large ice cubes, check out our Bar Essentials video, and I'll drop a link in the description below. So we got everything iced. Let's grab the large side of our shaker. Let's seal up our shaker tins. And we're gonna shake for 12 seconds as always. "12 seconds. Grab your shaker tin, crack that shaker wide open, get all that goodness out of there. And we're gonna grab both our Hawthorne strainer and our basket strainer. We're gonna start by straining our Being Frank cocktail. Look at the color on that. Right, let's crack open our mocktail. Let's double strain that one as well. So pretty. Get all that goodness out of there. Yes. Now, for our mocktail, we're gonna top it with that 50-50 blend of club soda and tonic water. Fill her about halfway with club soda. Fill the mocktail about halfway with tonic. No soda water in the Being Frank cocktail, only in the mocktail. Let's go ahead and agitate that mocktail, make sure it's mixed in there real good. For our final step, I'm gonna find a nice garnish for both of these. You don't want basil leaves that are too big. Go with about these sizes here. Let's make sure we smack the basil leaf in our hand before we put it in the cocktail. You really want to release those herbs. Same thing, give it a smack. Let's just run it right down in there. Oh yeah, look at these two beautiful summer delights. Being Frank, the Being Frank mocktail. You got that caramelized peach, the basil balsamic, the bourbon, the fernet in the cocktail. I'm excited. I haven't had this one in a while. Let's taste. I'm gonna start with the Being Frank cocktail just as a reference. Yeah, you definitely get that peach and the basil on the nose, and the fernet comes through, that herbaceousness of the fernet. Man, all right, guys. That's a banger right there. That is so refreshing, so refreshing. An extra level of acidity from that balsamic. It's so thirst quenching. It's perfect for the summer. With the bourbon and the caramelized peach, man, you really, there's just so many layers and levels to this. It is such an awesome cocktail. Not to toot my own horn, but hey, you know, I'm the guy who made it. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's try the mocktail. See how it measures up. Smells good. You get the basil on the nose. Oh yeah, bright, super, super bright. Nice little bit of vegetal note. Again, that basil really comes through on this one. The balsamic even comes through a little bit more on this because there's not other ingredients like fernet or bourbon that knock it down, but it is so refreshing. This is something you want to drink when it's hot outside. As you can see, I'm sweating right now, man. I've been working hard. This is fantastic. Oh man, I am truly satisfied with these. There you have it, guys. Being Frank, the Being Frank mocktail. Guys, I hope you enjoyed these drinks. Share these videos with your friends. Make these cocktails for your friends. And just enjoy summertime with these fantastic, flavorful cocktails. We got more to come. Hope you guys all enjoyed the recipes today. Maybe you made them along with me. Maybe you're writing them down, saving them for a later date. Either way, guys, let me know how you're liking everything. And, you know, hey, as always, guys, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, commenting, subscribing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy, everyone. Time in the new space. I'd say fairly successful.